Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to No Filter with Naomi. So, today we have someone that has been so instrumental in my life in so many ways, and I will call him another member of my chosen family. We have the self acclaimed director, the one and only Lee Daniels. Welcome, Lee, to No Filter with Naomi.
How are you,
Hi.
my baby? How
I'm
are
all
you?
right, my darling. How are you doing?
What's going on, sweet girl?
What's going on? Well, I'm occupying my time, fulfilling a fantasy, and getting to sit here and getting to talk to you and my favorite people in the world. And I'm just having fun, lots of fun, and
Isn't it
trying
fun?
to.
You're trying to make. I guess you can try to make fun. You can have fun. You have to. You gotta find things to have fun in this bizarre
You
time.
got to stay in positive mind, body, and spirit is my thing. And so the workouts, it helps my mind sitting here because I'd be on the phone with you anyway. So now we're just having the camera just peek into what we're talking about instead of just being on the phone. So it's nothing really that much different. But um,
Now,
tell me,
speaking of
Lee,
your
how's
workouts, well, wait a minute.
tell
Hold on.
me?
Speaking of your workouts,
Yeah.
we were just on the phone with Rodney, and he told me that you have this. What is it? A class or something on your
I'm
Instagram?
basically, so yeah, I work out every day around noonish in New
Yeah.
York, and it's nine-ish your time, and I work out with my trainers on the iPad, and then I put my phone and let everyone see it live and work out with me. And it's great. People
Is it on
all over the
Instagram or
world.
is it on? Was it
It's on
on that
Instagram. It's on
9 o'clock?
Instagram, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
will I be able to hang?
Of course you can hang. I do circuit training. So basically
Okay.
it's not every day the same thing. It's a similar warm up, but we target different parts of the body every day. I mean, look,
Okay.
we're sitting here, we're cooking, we're eating. We got to move ourselves.
True.
And,
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone this morning and a journalist, and I explained to her, look, when I was watching Chris Como speak on CNN, who had the
Hmm.
coronavirus, he said, very important to get up and move
Yep.
yourself, even when you don't want to. So I didn't really want to get up today because it's a gloomy, rainy day, but I have a commitment. I committed myself to doing it, and I
Wasn't that
wanted to
important when
honor
you
it.
heard? Let me ask you. I heard that too, and when he said, uh, "Get up," and you instinctively, we've been trained that when we are sick, we go to bed. I thought that was really fascinating to fight the virus, to get up and fight the
Right.
virus.
Yeah, that's what
Really
I felt.
interesting.
I felt like we have to do everything the opposite to really combat, not lie down, not stay, no, not for, try to really fight it. And can you imagine to be in this pain and having to go through that?
Yes. No, I don't. I can't imagine.
We're going to battle with something that we don't really understand yet and the different strengths. I mean, I'm sitting here every day. I'm trying not to watch the news constantly, but there are different strengths, and it seems to be
Different
certain
what?
countries are now
Different what?
different strengths of this virus.
No, I didn't know that. I thought that was just the
There's
virus.
different strains. Some people they have it and they have no symptoms. Some people
Oh,
have
right.
it
Yeah.
and they're laid out and for 14 days. I have people that that works for me, and one of my accountants works for me. She said she was out for 14 days. So it's like, I mean, now you're hearing in certain countries that they're coming on a second wave. So the question is, can we get it again once we've had it, or are we immune once we've had it? Nobody knows.
On to brighter subjects.
On to brighter subjects.
Brighter
We are here to talk
subjects.
about you, my darling Lee
Okay,
Daniels.
my darling. Let's talk
So
about me.
let's
And
talk
then I'll
about
probably
you.
flip
So
the
I want
question
to
back to
know,
you.
first and foremost, what are you working on now? We know the
Uh,
television. I want to talk to you as if never met you before in my life.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what you're working on now,
I'm
please.
currently writing. Have you seen that movie Primal Fear with Ed Norton?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm writing with her. She's writing it for me. for Fox, the Sammy Davis Jr. miniseries. So I'm really excited about that.
That's fantastic.
I'm currently working on that writing, and she is, and I'm Ann Bitterman, and she's fantastic. I'm really
Will that cover everything when he was married to Kim Novak, all of it?
Him hugging up against Richard Nixon, his problem with the black community, his problem with drugs, his
friendship with Frank Sinatra.
Yes, his confusing friendship with Frank Sinatra, and his his support for Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. Not many people know that, but most of his money went to the civil rights movement.
Didn't know that.
So he's a complex story. Music, first black man in entertainment with a jet, his own private plane.
Now, was he part of the Rat Pack? He was.
Yeah,
right?
he was. But Frank Sinatra.
With Dean Martin and
but they made fun of him. They made racial jokes on stage in Vegas, and black people thought he was sort of Uncle Tommy, and but he wasn't, but he was in his own way. It's complicated. It's very complicated.
And then he married Kim Novak, and I'm sure that wasn't easy at that time to marry a white woman back in that day.
Yeah, he didn't marry her. He wanted to. He married.
He didn't.
No, he married Elke Sommer, who was a German, a Swedish actress, and had children. But it was really, he had death threats. It was crazy.
So does Sammy Davis Jr. have living children?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
I've never seen or heard of them or anything. Just thinking, So
I'm writing that. We're writing that right now. Sorry.
And that's now. And they asked what company that's for. Is that Fox or Disney or
Fox? For Fox.
Okay. So your deal is with Fox, right? Fox. How does that work now? Because it's Fox Disney.
Well, not Fox. Not Fox. Rupert Murdoch's Fox. That's a Fox that's owned by Disney.
Got it. Okay. Got it. So that's all clear.
And that's just for television. Film. I mean, that's just for TV. I do. I do all of my.
Tell us about what you're doing for film. What you've just done.
I just finished. The United States versus Billie Holiday. I'm in the process of editing that. That's a film about Billie Holiday. That's just. You saw it. You saw the. You're one of the people that saw it.
It is, folks. It really is going to take you there. I said it before from just seeing the screenplay. If you all know Audra Day as a singer, you won't forget that she's a singer once you're just going to see her in this role. She is absolutely fantastic. She lives and breathes every ounce of Billie Holiday, and it's the essence, because you don't want someone to imitate. You want someone to carry that essence, and she has it from A to Z. Lee, it's an incredible film. I can't wait for everyone to see it. It really, because it's a part that you don't know. You don't know this part of, the part that we know of Billie Holiday and being the addict and blah, 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 blah. But you don't know the story of what she went through and why they went after her and targeted her so much. It's very important for us to know this history about her.
Thank you. I believe she's the first civil rights leader. I think that she was singing Strange Fruit about black people being hung, and the government did not want her to sing it, and they were trying to take her down. And so what they did was they couldn't get her for the song because it's freedom of speech, and they got her for the drugs. And they would plant drugs on her. They would every time she would try to go to rehab, as a recovering addict myself, I can only imagine what it was like back then.
But I didn't know you
Can you imagine trying to get sober? Can you imagine trying to get sober and the government planting spies around you to planting drugs on you? You're trying to get sober, and they are doing everything they can to keep you on drugs so they can arrest you.
No, it's incredible. I wouldn't know. No, I'm in recovery too. It must be the most awful thing. You don't know who you can trust, who you cannot trust. You don't know if whatever you take, you're gonna live, be alive.
Yeah, I
It
mean, it's
must have
bad
been a
enough as it is
really.
already. I mean, when you are a celebrity, it's bad enough because you have to protect yourself with certain friends as it is.
Mhm.
Hers was even a deeper way of trusting people because I don't know. It's a
Tell
rough
me,
one.
how was it working with Audra Day?
Beyond. It was beyond. It was like God made her for this role. Um, I was inspired to do what it is that I do because of Lady Sings the Blues. When I saw Diana Ross, it changed my life. The fashion, the music, the sexiness, Billie D. Williams, Diana Ross, and Bob Mackie, all of that was an inspiration. And to see all of it with with just street people that I
To
understood.
see a black
Are we allowed
woman
to
in
curse
such
on this thing?
elegance. I mean, such elegance and regal and poise. It's back then, and it's.
The combination of music, the combination of elegance mixed with pig's feet and collard greens in the world that I grew up in really affected what it was that I wanted to do with my life. And that movie just so I was nervous about it was almost sacrilegious when I decided to do the film. And I was nervous. I called Barry Gordy for his permission because that's how much of it's like the holy grail to me. And I found out that that wasn't her life story at all. And they sort of sugarcoated it, and it really wasn't. It doesn't talk about the government taking her down, and how she really was a
Well,
hero to women black.
it didn't show her strength in Lady Sings the Blues. It shows
Yeah.
her strength in the beginning of wanting to be an artist. But what I love about the United States vs. Billie Holiday, your movie, is it shows her strength. It shows her how she tried to combat and to be an artist, but to be the woman that she was. You see the struggle between the civil rights that she wants to protect and to be part of and believes in, most importantly. And you see the struggle of the artist of wanting the freedom to sing what she wants to sing. I mean, I never heard of a human chain being surrounded at Carnegie Hall to stop someone from singing a song. Is
Crazy,
that what
right?
happened to her?
And yes, and also like the idea um, of her growing up in a whorehouse. She was like that. She even became a an artist that is well renowned,
We're
coming
talking
from
about Billie Holiday,
whorehouse.
anyone, in case you just tuned in.
Just
Because
tuned
we're
in. Yeah,
saying
we're talking
she's,
about
they
Billie
may
Holiday.
not know. We're talking about the Billie Holiday. So, Lee,
Yes.
that's to come. So hopefully the United States vs. Billie Holiday we should be able to see this nationwide, worldwide, towards the
In
fall.
November, if we're able to get through this Corona crazy,
But we're still
you know.
going to want to see your film no matter what. So we're going to
Yeah.
say with
Thank you.
luck in the fall. And so then I just want to talk about Empire,
Okay.
because you changed television. You know that. In the sense of it came
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
a new
Yeah.
time of we had the Cosby shows, we've had this, that, we've had different. I mean, I came to America, Cosby show was happening in '86. And I saw it in London. I said to my mother, I'm going to do that show when I get to America. She looked at me, it's like, you're mad, you're not ever doing that show. I get to America after
How is your
3
mother, by the way?
months.
How is your mother?
My mommy's good. Thank you so much for asking. She'll love that. I'll say that. I'll let her know. Thank you. After 3 months I was in the United States of America, I did the Cosby Show. So you asking me to act again when I was just like, no, I'm not an actress. But
Oh,
I love being on Empire.
wasn't that
You?
fun? Oh man, when you don't realize how much fun you're having when you're in the middle of it all. And it was a life. Look, I didn't want to do.
You
I
got
didn't
me
really.
hooked from the first, but you showed me the pilot. And I was
As
like,
I
I
did
want to
with
watch
Billie
that.
Holiday. I did. I showed it to you before anybody too. Like I showed you Billie Holiday. It's so funny. That's because I love you, Naomi.
I love you too, Lee.
But yeah, we just like when we were going to do it as a film. We had just finished The Butler, and Danny and I, and he wanted to do he wanted to do it as a film, and I had to take my kid. My kids had to go to college, and we needed to go. I needed money for them to go to college, and I was like, I don't know how I got all these Oscars for people, but I don't have money to have my kids go to college. And so a friend of mine said,
"You have twins, right?"
I have twins, yeah. And so I decided that a friend of mine said you could make a lot of money in television, and when when he came to me with the idea of Empire as a film, I said, well, let's try it as a TV show. And I hadn't done TV before. I didn't know what I was walking into. And we just broke every rule imaginable. And it was my life story. It was my life story with music. It was, I put my soul into it. And I think that first season, that first season, really was a magical time. It was, I didn't know we were changing. I didn't know that we were changing.
You just did it from your heart. Because
Yeah.
I think I can honestly say, I could have been doing my modeling jobs around the world, but for you, I wanted to do it, so I was there for you. And it's great to be part of something being born and not knowing how it's going to take shape or what's going to happen. And I'm truly very happy for you and
Thank
for
you.
Danny. And, the cougar, he made me a cougar. I don't even like that bloody word, cougar. But I did it.
And listen,
first
let me
day-
tell you, I was so nervous. because normally when you're working, as with Star 2, I really am on top of you. But
Yes,
your
you are.
death moment, I was not a part of. And that was to you, all your credit. That ending, you did that on your own. I was really proud of you because you had, either you were afraid that I was going to yell, or I don't know.
Always
you were,
afraid you're going to yell. No, I just don't want to let you down. And I understand when, someone's learning another occupation and you put me forward and they've got a big company behind you, and I don't want to let you down. And so, I
great.
worked with Susan Batson as well. And,
Yes.
and, I wanted to just make sure I was present and I was there. And I was
And
doing
glamorous and beautiful and honest. The character was really honest. And I believed that relationship. It was a relationship because, Taraji Cookie had spent 17 years in jail. So this kid had a mother issue. He really had a mother issue and wanted to,
This
But
was
listen.
the key. But Lee, let me just say something to you. You have worn many hats in your career. And just doing some research on you, even though you're my friend, I am surprised. I didn't know about a nursing home, a nursing agency. I mean, please, can you just walk me through? Because it's incredible.
Okay.
It's so inspiring.
Thank
There's so many.
Okay. You didn't know that?
No, love it. I mean, just love it.
So anyway, I
We
came
can make a movie
to,
about you.
I came to Los Angeles. I came to Los Angeles with $7 in my pocket, swear to God, homeless. And I went to, in those days you had the Los Angeles Times had the, those sections of, the classified sections. Mm-hmm. So I was living in the back of a church in Inglewood, and the pastor found out that and there was a little theater back there, and he found that I was living in the back of the church at night, and I said, listen, you got a theater back here. Can I direct some plays here? So, because I become friendly with a lot of the people that were in the choir, and so anyway, I looked in the back of the Los Angeles Times, and in it they had a nursing agency receptionist, and so it was on Sunset and Wilcox, and I applied for the job, got it. I was selling nurses. So let's say your mom got sick, or your dad got sick, or you had a baby, and you didn't want to go to the hospital, but you wanted to take care of whatever medical situation you had at home.
Yeah.
You would call this company, and they would send you nurses. or nurses' aides, and so I was selling nurses over the phone. Didn't know anything about
Now,
nursing.
selling nurses meaning like if someone needs a nurse for a week or 2 weeks, a private home, that type
Temporary.
of thing. So I've used
Yeah.
this service myself. Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So but then like they promoted me because I was so good in it, and I got an apartment, and they promoted me, and I got a raise, and then like a year into it, like I was the manager of the nursing agency, and I said a year into it, I said, you know what, I can do this by myself. So
Yeah.
I opened my own from my apartment. I started with 5 nurses, and I was friends with all of the social workers and the discharge planners at hospitals at Cedars-Sinai and all around. That's how you get the business, was from social services. Yeah. So
Right.
became friends with all of them, and they were normally African American women, and we just connected, and so my business was their business was booming, and I said, you know, I could do this on my own, and I opened my own nursing agency, and at that time, so I was under contract with the Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation, and at that time it was really the beginning of AIDS. AIDS had just hit LA, and AIDS Project LA was new, and I was under contract with them, and we had about 100 nurses, and we were taking care. I knew nothing about. I had to hire like insurance people and like an in-house nurse that really knew what the hell was going on medically, because I didn't know what I was doing except selling nurses. And one day, the producer of Purple Rain came in.
Yeah.
And he thought that was his white cat that was taking care of his father. And he said he came to pay, because I would pay the nurse. The check would come to my office. I would cut the nurse a check, and I would keep the commission. And he came to pay it, and he said, "Excuse me, is Lee Daniels here?" And I go, "Right here." And he said, "You're taking care of my father?" I go, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what do you really want to do?" He was mind blown. I was 23 years old.
Wow. This is
It was a
incredible.
Saturday, and I said, "I really want to direct."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, why don't you you have to do that, you have to become a PA." I said, "What's that?" And he said, "You know, come and try it." So I sold a nursing agency, literally sold a nursing agency, and I drove on the set of Warner Brothers with an Armani suit on and a Porsche and a cigarette to become a PA, and that was my career.
We love that. How sweet. What color was the Porsche, may I ask? Black, nothing else. And I mean, that is just an incredible
Isn't that crazy?
story.
Isn't that crazy? So it began there. I didn't go to college for cinema. I couldn't afford that. But I knew after watching Lady Sings the Blues that this was really something this is ironic that I'm doing Billie Holiday right now, because it really was what that and Dreamgirls when I was much older, 18, I snuck into the back of
You don't always have to go to college to fulfill your desires. You know?
yeah. But I didn't tell my kids that. I made sure their asses went.
Yeah, I get that, and it's rightly so. But may I just touch on one thing that you said? During that times of the AIDS epidemic, how was that? Because I moved to New York in 1986.
Okay,
I
so
lost my first friend in 87. He was a stylist, Ray Petrie. I loved him so much. And I came here. There was a makeup artist I used to work with in Paris. And David, that's how I knew David LaChapelle. He took me to see a friend of mine because I didn't know what he had. I just knew my favorite makeup artist was no longer able to do my makeup, and he was in the hospital. And I mean, I lost a lot of people that I started my career with, a lot of hair and makeup people, designers. So I wanted to know, what was that like? Is there any similarity to what's going on, we're going through now?
I have PTSD from this experience right now, because it was, especially for blacks, especially for black gay men, it was a time, it came at a time, we didn't know whether you got it from drinking water behind people, whether you got it from breathing the same air. We didn't know whether you got it from, we didn't know. And people were dropping like flies. And at one point, I just thought that and I think that that's probably the reason why I was where my addiction sort of my addiction came, because I didn't know how to deal with everybody that was dying. People were dropping like flies, people that I was having sex with, best friends, and we all sort of gathered together because our parents were not taking us in. The hospitals were not taking us in.
What do you mean? So if you got ill, you couldn't go to the hospital? They would say
Were
no?
not taking us in. Not in Hollywood. You couldn't get in, especially if you were black. You couldn't get into no hospital. People were dying. It was. I think I blacked out.
Even if you had your insurance, you could not get into a hospital.
No, they didn't want to catch it. In the beginning, in the very beginning,
So
I was waiting.
My God.
I was like, okay, so I didn't like the fact that I don't have it, Naomi. The virus is a miracle from God. I didn't understand how come I did not get it. I was waiting to get it, and I would go out looking for it because I couldn't. I had survivor's remorse for all of these great people, these incredible kids that I was friends with, that were my boyfriends, and people that were dying, and I couldn't understand. So I went out with a death wish. Because I knew I was going to get it. It was just a matter of time. I was supposed to get it. Everybody had it. There are very few.
No, you were not supposed to get it.
No. At that time, I thought.
That's what you thought. That's where your mind was at.
Yeah. And so I think you can count on your hands, really. There are a small group of black men that are gay that survived it, that don't have it. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of them.
I mean, I have a lot of friends in Europe that have that have it, but they've been taking the medication for like 15, 16, 17 years. And they're actually healthier now than they were then. I mean, but it seems to me in America that it really hit home when Rock Hudson returned from Paris.
In Paris, yes.
And it seemed to be then that's like, okay, we have now something we need to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
AIDS.
But the beginning was absolutely terrifying. And when this came, it's bizarre that we're talking about this with Corona, because when this came with Corona, it took me back to the 80s.
I can imagine. So, with Empire now happening under the belt, this is the last season of Empire that's on television now. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it's not the end of the characters, because I understand you're doing a spin-off for Taraji, Cookie's character.
Well, we're trying to figure that out right now. It's not official, but we're still trying to figure out what this ending is going to be, because you remember we were in the midst of shooting the ending when all the hell broke loose with Corona. So the actors were asked to leave and the crew was asked to leave. And so we were in the midst of writing the finale, and now what is the finale? So we're trying to figure out what we're doing with the show, because I do want to make sure that, unlike Star, they don't just like that fans are left
knowing.
Yeah, hanging. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. So do you feel like Star was left hanging?
I think so. Yeah, we didn't see that coming at all. So
Star was the show with Queen Latifah.
Yes.
About that, which was about a girl group.
Oh my God, that was that was my heart. You were on that show too. You and Lenny Kravitz.
My rock star husband, Lenny Kravitz.
He was a piece of shit on that show. He was the worst.
So I was a pill popper and.
Oh my God, you were so good on the show, Naomi. You and Lenny were the quintessential. It was everything that I wanted. Gosh, I wish you had pictures we could show of you guys on the show. It was fantastic.
Maybe for when we put this online, we can find some. There's a couple pictures that you, Lenny, and Dana, Queen Latifah, and I took.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. Once again, I trusted you. I was there for
Oh,
you. I trust you, Lee. What can I say?
I trust you too. The
So,
that character was, well, first of all, it was about a girl group, and Dana and I wanted to do, Queen Latifah wanted to do, when we met during Precious Time, we wanted to do homage to Paris is Burning. And it was one of my favorite documentaries growing up. And so it was sort of a throwback to that in a beauty salon,
yeah.
with people, all different types of
Miss Lawrence. Oh,
Miss
Miss Lawrence. We
Lawrence
love
and
Miss
Tina
Lawrence.
Maya Scott,
Oh,
who played
fantastic.
Cotton, and three girls. Again, I wanted to talk about race, so we had a white girl that was Star, we had her sister who was biracial, Simone, and we had her black friend who
Alexandra.
what was Alexandra, right?
Alexandra was my daughter.
I wanted Alexandra to be the rich girl, because oftentimes you don't see the
Spoiled,
black girl.
privileged.
She was the rich girl, and she came from a famous family, and
Who could
her
play her mother and
parents
play
were
her
youth.
father, which she did.
And it was just beautiful. I mean, you guys reminded me, it was a just rich, beautiful fashion, fun.
I want to just say to you, how grateful I'm so grateful during this period to use the discipline of our recovery, because it helps me through this period of time. And I want to just go from there quickly to The Butler. How was it? Because we all want to know, how was it directing Oprah Winfrey in The Butler?
Oh my God, so much fun. She saw Precious. She and Tyler Perry saw Precious, and I don't think people would have known anything about the film had I not asked them on as executive producers to help me promote it after we finished shooting it. And I had done Monsters Ball.
I didn't know that. They
just,
became executive producers of Precious after
yes.
the time?
Mhm. Yeah, I thought it was such a controversial piece, and it was so hard. It was a hard movie. I needed everything I could. And Oprah related to the film so much that she said, I want to do everything I can, Lee, to ring the bell for you to make sure that people see this film. It's an important film. I didn't know that I'm telling another story that, what I love doing is showing, giving a face to the faceless and giving a voice to the voiceless.
I mean, Paperboy. I mean, all your movies are really, they're profound. Each and every single one of them.
Thank you.
There's
The Butler.
There's something. Yeah, go ahead.
So The Butler was my most. Billie Holiday goes back to Monsters Ball, goes back to Paperboy, but it goes back to my old school of telling stories. But The Butler, my mother was like, people at the church are saying something's wrong with you. I mean, you did these movies. So you did a movie with Kevin Bacon about Woodsman, about a pedophile. You do Monsters Ball, where it's like these crazy stories, and Paperboy. Like, can you just do like a film like Tyler Perry, or could you do a film that like people will see? My church people will see. I said, well, who's complaining? She said, this lady at the church. I said, well, you tell her I'm gonna do The Butler for her. And I did it. We only had one curse word in it, no sex. The most we had was Oprah drinking a little bit.
There was a little flirtation, because I know the script, and that's it. That's absolutely true.
But it was a magical experience, because we were telling the story of a butler who had experienced what it was like to be in the White House during like 8 presidents. So it was exciting.
But I truly believed it, because it's like, it's got to be a lonely job being a president, and you have to have someone that you trust. And I believe that.
I wish we could find out who the butler is for Trunk's ass.
Please, child.
I gotta take my oregano oil. Oregano oil, you're normally giving me. I take a little shot of it.
Yeah, but how could you do that now, Lee? it gives such a kickback, but it's so good. Everyday oregano oil. So let me just ask you, so you've given lots of Oscars, like you said, to many of your female actresses. So you've got Halle. Can you go through that for me?
I had Halle was the first Black woman to win an Academy Award, Best Actress.
And
Monique,
that was for Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball, yeah. And then I was responsible for the first Black writer getting an Academy Award for Precious, Jeffrey Fletcher. And then I was responsible for Monique getting an Academy Award, who was like the third Black woman to get Best Supporting Actress. And yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now it's time for yours.
Oh, listen, here's the thing. We talk about that, but we don't really, Naomi, seriously, you do it the minute you start thinking about that kind of crazy.
You don't think of awards. You do it because it's passion from your heart.
And if you don't, the minute you start thinking that way, it's a wrap.
You should never think that way, actually. But
wait a minute, listen to me. Hey, I was on the red carpet. Listen, hey, Naomi, we were on the red carpet
I've
for.
seen the film, so I'm saying that.
You're sweet. Listen, I was on. Don't put that out there though. Let me tell you why. I was on the red carpet. I was on the red carpet for Butler. And I swear to God, everybody was saying, "Oh my God, you're gonna get so many awards for this movie. Oh my God." So then cut to awards time. I'm walking a red carpet and someone says, the same reporter from Entertainment Tonight says, "What happened? How do you feel about not getting the award?" I said, "You said I was getting nominated. I didn't say I was getting nominated."
Blame it on me. So now you've had Mariah Carey in your films, Lenny Kravitz, Gabby.
I like to work with friends. I like to work with friends. I'd like to work with friends.
I see that.
Queen Latifah, I mean, she's like you. She's family to me, Dana.
And you put Gabby in Empire? Is Gabby in the last season still?
Yeah.
Is she still in? Yeah?
Yeah. I thought that was great because, I wanted her to make a lot of money. And I think that with television, you can make money. And I wanted Gabby on that journey with me to make sure that she made money as an actor. I knew she's a phenomenal actor. And I loved
she's very bright. I love her energy.
Isn't she smart?
So bright. Very
yeah,
smart.
and I wanted her in fashion. I wanted a girl. And we dyed her hair blonde, and we put her in these clothes, and it was just, it was a statement.
It was great. And Terrence, was that the first time you working with Terrence Howard?
No, Terrence. Okay, here's my story with Terrence Howard. Terrence came up to me at a Christmas party, and I don't know why I had never worked with him before. And he said, how come you never hired me before? How come you never bring me into audition? I said, man, because I don't fucking like you, okay?
Oh, no. Lee, you did not. That's naughty. That's very naughty, Lee.
But but here's the thing. I fell in love with him after that. It was Christmas time. I fell in love with him, and I just sight unseen. I gave him the role.
He's so. I love Terrence.
Isn't he the best? I love him so much.
He was a big support to me on that set. I have to tell you, it was a big support.
He's a good guy.
So. And very
so I worked with him on the
artistic.
Butler. Yes, very, very smart. I worked with him on the Butler, and he's a genius. He did the one moment with the hangers with Oprah, where one finger goes this way with the hanger, and then the other finger goes this way. He's able to do that crazy.
I've seen some of the things when he would show me when we were in between shots on breaks and Empire. I've seen the things that he does with this, also very mathematical. It's you got to be into algebra. It's very complicated to me. But he's really into this.
Him and Taraji. I had not worked with Taraji. Taraji came into audition for Precious, and she said I brought her into audition for Miss Rain, the teacher, and she told me, "I want to play Precious."
Gabby's role. Oh, okay.
So I said, "I'll see you later, girl," and we worked together on Empire. That was the next time.
And then Mariah Carey, who we know you're very close to also. We love Mariah.
She's got to
I
come
do
on this
too.
show. I'm so happy she responded to one of us about
Yeah, to
excited
me,
about singing.
on my
So now
Instagram.
Mariah's got to come on. I'm calling her when this is over with.
I'd love to have
Have
Mariah.
her on the show.
Yeah.
The two
We're
of you
both
together
born the
are my
same year.
favorite.
She just had her birthday, no?
Yeah. No, not
So-
birthday. What does she call it?
What does she call it?
I don't know. Something that's not birthday, but something
It's
like
not
that.
birthday. So now with Empire, because you used a lot of your part of your real life, like I
Yes.
remember in the first episode or the pilot you showed me, when Terrence takes one of his 3 sons and puts him in the trash can. I know that was based on your life.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was very difficult for you growing up.
Yeah. You know, I think that everything that I do comes from a place I have for it to ring true with the audience, for it to ring true for me. It's got to come from a place of complete and utter honesty. Otherwise, it will not. Otherwise, what's the point? So everything that I do, even if it's not, even with Billie Holiday, I have to see there are moments of stuff that's happened to me. That was probably the most painful because that was a direct cut and paste and lift and put into. I didn't want to put it in the TV show because it was too personal. And it didn't just involve me, but it also involved my mother. So
Right.
it was okay for me to tell my truth, but I didn't really feel comfortable telling her that and so when it came to, I wrote it, and then when it came to directing it, I don't remember. I had a blackout. My sister was an extra in that scene, and she came over and took when the kid was walking to the down the stairs towards Terrence in his high heels,
Yes.
in red shoes. I don't remember. I had a blackout. It was the first time I had a blackout ever, and my sister took over and directed the kid because I don't remember.
I don't remember. That must have been very difficult and very painful for you, traumatic.
But here's the thing: the truth will set you free, always. And I think that unless you're able to do that, you're able to touch hearts. You're able to do it with Precious. You know, there was so much of me wrapped up in that movie, Naomi. You have to, as with Paperboy, as now with Billie Holiday. So much of me is wrapped up in my work and I think that so many people don't want to talk about what it is that I want to talk about, and I think that's why people respond maybe.
Yes, it's true. And identify with. What would you say now to young Black filmmakers who want to get into film, want to tell their stories? It's not easy. What advice do you give to young people that are asking you these questions? And I know you do lots of talks and things like this, and what advice do you give to these young? And you employ a lot of young writers.
So very hard, you know. It's so hard for people that aren't in school, but there's a way. I didn't go to film school. I didn't know how to write. There's a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And I think you have to you fight for the stories that you think are important, the stories that that you identify with, because what you think is so personal is not. Everybody's going through the same shit that everybody's going through. We're all the same. And I think you have to just not be afraid to tell the truth, not be afraid to be criticized. A lot of people criticize my work, and they criticize me because of the work. I mean, I'm not beloved. I am a controversial filmmaker, and I make you think. I make you look at both sides of the story.
You push our minds. You push us, and you put us in uncomfortable places. But it's film. That's what I think you're supposed to do. You're supposed to experiment and go around and.
Let's do a comedy. I don't know what a comedy would be like. Let's do a comedy.
If you still think I can act, well,
oh my God, you know you can act. Shut
This is
up.
a new
I
world.
hate
I
this.
have no idea if I'm going to be still a fashion model. Who's going to want me after this? I
And you
mean,
are almost 50 friggin' years old. You look.
I'm 50 in 5 weeks. 50 in 5 weeks. Tomorrow, the April 14th, is my 34 years in modeling. It's my modeling birthday tomorrow, of being in the fashion industry. I started April 14th, 86. My first shoot was in New Orleans. And as I said, they were so lovely at Snapchat. They created a snap filter for me.
What's this snap filter?
A snap filter. It's a Naomi snap filter. Makes you look very pretty. And it just, does all the little things that we need doing while we're in a quarantine that we cannot do.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so Snapchat did a snap filter for me. So I'm going to launch that this afternoon. I'm going to put it out in a few hours.
You know what's beautiful about you is that you have been we have lived your life. So many kids have lived your life, have watched your life unfold in front of the world, and how you've conducted yourself through these ups and downs in your life has just been an inspiration to so many. To me too, You got me sober.
You got yourself sober.
No, but
you wanted to be sober. You were ready.
I was ready, but you did it, and it was beautiful.
Having it. I'm not having my friend be a statistic. I'm not having it. You got lots to do.
It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Bless you for doing this interview today and giving us your time. And just, what are you doing to stay safe? What are you doing at home? And by the way, happy anniversary to you too.
Can you believe that? I know.
Today.
10 years with the boy, Fisher.
Yes.
I love him so much.
Happy anniversary, Fish.
He's downstairs. There's his friend is having a birthday party on the phone. What are we doing? We are getting along really well. He cooks. I am writing. I'm praying a lot, Naomi. I didn't know that I had so much.
Psalms 91.
Yes.
Psalms 91.
I didn't know I had this kind of prayer in me. And it's not just praying for me, it's praying for my family. It's praying for our president, that he's doing the right thing, that someone shows him.
Cover our loved ones. Cover our loved ones. Is that it's hard because I have FaceTime as my only way to see my family, and I just pray that they stay safe. I'm an ocean away, but.
And I want to continue to give. I don't know what I can do. I'm trying to figure out what else I can do, but I want to make sure. I know that Philadelphia is the next hot spot right now, and I'm from Philadelphia, so I want to make sure that I give as much as I can and find ways to support the people on the forefront of this crazy, the nurses, the doctors, the FedEx people, the UPS people. I didn't realize how they're the superstars right now. They're the rock stars.
And some of them are ill and they're still continuing to do their work, which is like above and beyond the call.
Isn't it crazy? It's beautiful. Life is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. We're blessed in so many ways, and I think we're all going to learn to appreciate and be grateful for the blessings more than ever before. Mm-hmm. Lee Daniels, thank you Naomi so much. I love you.
You're welcome.
Thank
I love you
you for such a beautiful interview, conversation.
This is my first on something like this. Thank you.
It is? I'm sure you have so many.
Well, I got to get Mariah to do it.
You didn't do me. What about me?
All right.
Have a great afternoon.
I love you.
I love
Saw you later.
Okay, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.